When you're trying to be more conscious about what you're putting into your food, it can start to feel a little overwhelming. So whether you're cooking for a specific dietary requirement or just aiming to be a bit healthier, I'm going to show you how the Thermomix can be a really handy tool to have in your kitchen. Today we're going to make the Mushroom Brown Rice Risotto from our diabetes collection, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to create it in the Thermomix. To get started, the first step is actually soaking your porcini mushrooms with boiling water and your dungara rice so that it's soaking. Now I've already done that ahead of time, so I'm going to skip forward. It's something that's really easy to do in your Thermomix. You're just going to scroll down to the step that we want, which in this case is here, step 7. We'll press our 3 dots and set it as our current step. All right, so our first step is to pop in some olive oil into our bowl. We want about 15 grams of that. We'll check that off. And now we want to pop in our leek, which we've cut into about 2 to 3 centimetre pieces, about 270 grams of that. How awesome is it that the scales weigh so easily right into the bowl, and you'll see when we get the amount right, it will tick it off automatically for us. Now 2 garlic cloves. So that was just 2 seconds on speed 6, and look at what we've got. Everything is beautifully chopped. Now, if I were doing this by hand, it's going to take way longer than 2 seconds. I'd need a chopping board and a knife to finally chop both the leek and the garlic. But Thermomix does it in seconds. So now we're going to scrape everything down on the sides and we're ready to saute. So while that's happening, my hands are now free. The Thermomix is doing all the work, which means I can prep the rest of my ingredients, whereas normally I'd have to be standing at the stove stirring constantly. Great, now that the garlic and the leek are beautifully sauteed, we're going to move on with the recipe. We're going to add some oyster mushrooms, which these are baby oysters that I've thinly sliced, but you can use the king oysters as well if you like. We want about 100 grams of that, or close to. We want some Swiss brown mushrooms that have been thinly sliced as well, about 200 grams. These have all been pre-measured for me, but your scales, they tear when you click the next step. It's really super easy to just weigh as you go. We're going to saute that again for another 3 minutes. Beautiful. My mushies are now sauteed with that leek. And now we're going to add a little bit of water, 200 grams. A little bit of vegetable stock concentrate. This one has no salt in it, and that way when you make it yourself, you can control that. And we want just a little bit of thyme, probably from about 3 sprigs. Adds a beautiful flavour. And now we've got our drained rice. So we had soaked it before, we've drained out the liquid, and we want to pop that into our bowl. And finally for this step, it's our porcini mushrooms with the soaking liquid that all goes in. They've been soaking, so you're really creating some really deep flavours in there. We're just going to give it a stir because that rice could have clumped up while it was sitting there. So you just want to make sure that you're breaking that up. And now we're going to set it to cook for about 50 minutes on 100 degrees, speed 1. Rather than standing at a stovetop on top of a pot and a pan, stirring continuously, not to mention having to ladle in a cup of stock consistently, changing the temperature so that it doesn't catch on the bottom. And let's not forget about the washing up at the end with all of those pots and pans. The Thermomix has done all the cooking and stirring for us, and our risotto is now ready. So let's take a look. We'll season it with a little bit of salt and pepper and a dash of lemon juice, and then it'll be ready to serve. Here we have our beautiful, healthy mushroom brown rice risotto. I'm going to top it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a touch of fresh thyme to finish it off. It's healthy, delicious, and best of all, you didn't have to break a sweat to make it. The Thermomix did all the hard work for you. For more information on the Thermomix or to explore more recipes, head on over to our website. The link is in the description below.